Hello and welcome to the channel. Don Singletary. We're going to do something a little different today for the featured trade of the week. I'm going to have an encore presentation. I went back over the last 12 months, and back in November of 2021, I created a video that turned out, to my surprise, to be one of the most popular and heavily viewed videos on the entire channel. And we join it now in progress for an encore presentation. I'll see you next week with a brand new featured trade of the week. There's a huge disservice that's happening to people who are learning to trade futures and in particularly learning to day trade the Micro Eminis. And the disservice is this: it's misinformation. You know, people try a trading system and then they try something else, nothing works, and they keep making the assumption erroneously because of all the misinformation around that they just haven't quite put the pieces of the puzzle together yet. So this trade indicator didn't work, so you try another one, and you watch a video and a guru tells you that I've got the secret sauce, man. I'm going to show you how this stuff works. Look at my big bank account. I'm throwing $100 bills off the balcony, and they never quite tell you the secret sauce that's going to solve all your problems until after you send them $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, sometimes even more. That's the disservice that happens to traders because, one, it wastes your time, it wastes your money, and the expectations you have going into trading should be realistic. I want to tell you something now, maybe in a different way than you've ever heard it before, but it'll save you a lot of time and probably a lot of money. And a lot of angst, a lot of disappointment, because it has everything to do with the way that you're going to go about learning to trade. Think about it, how crazy it is to believe there's one single formula, one set of trading parameters that matches all products, all days, all people, and all situations, that you make money over and over and over again with it. The pitch goes like this: "Hey, Bubba, you want to be a gunslinging day trader, make all the money you can count? Hell, you'll have to take Sunday off just to count all that money. All you got to do is buy a box of my secret trading sauce. It's only $3,000. What's that? Oh, no, you can't see in the box. Not till I get the check." If somebody makes that pitch to you, hopefully a little better than I did it, you put your hand on your wallet. Guys, ladies, grab your purses and you haul ass the other way because you're being bullshit. About something even more serious, making some money and having some fun. You know, it is possible to enjoy your work. You know, there's really only one thing that indicates you're doing everything right in trading. It's called your account balance. So let's make some money. Now, today, the trade's on October 11th, 2021. I'm going to be selling 2 of the S&P 500 Micro Eminis. Each contract is $5 a point, so I'll be trading at $10 a point. 5-minute candlesticks, the standard default MACD configuration. Now you see at 12:58 p.m. is when I begin this trade, 2 minutes before 1 o'clock Eastern Time. If you look down in the MACD at the bottom of the screen there in the red circle, you'll see the green line below the red line and both going below the zero line. It's pretty important too. The market went up for a little while from 9:30 until about 10:30 on this particular morning. And then it began a downtrend, and you can see all the arrows leveling off and then going down for the next couple of hours, all the way until about 1 o'clock when I decided to get into this trade by shorting 2 of the contracts. So that's definitely a downtrend for the day. It did go up at 9:30, but then it turned around and from 10:30 all the way out till 1 o'clock. 2.5 hours, it's going down. And you see the MACD telling you that. The momentum's going down. So that's the way I decided to short the 2 contracts at this particular time. Now, there's never a guarantee on any trade. Let's get started. Now, what you're about to see on the screen is I'm putting them in a bracket order to enter this trade, a bracket/OCO. One cancels the other. And if you look in the text below this video, I have a video link down there, bracket OCO, that goes to a short video to tell you how to enter a bracket order. But basically, it has three prices in it: the order entry price, the stop loss, and the target. And the target's a little bit arbitrary because the market doesn't care what you put in a target. It's going to do what the market does. So let's see how we open this trade and where the stop is placed right now. This kind of trading isn't rocket science, but it does take a lot of practice. And you need to get pretty nimble with your software controls too. Short two contracts, 43.82 and 3/4. And my stop was initially put down there at 43.85, and I'm going to revisit that. I get asked often, how do you determine how wide, how far away to put the stop? Well, if you look at the 4 or 5 candlesticks prior to the time I put this trade on, they're moving anywhere between 3 and 5 points every 5 minutes. Now, if it happened to be moving 8 to 12 points in every 5 minutes, you might decide you don't want to risk that much money, so you could either trade one contract instead of two, or just pass and wait till another trade suits your eye a little bit better. I've taken out my Tastyworks mouse and I'm moving the stop up a little bit because the trade's a little bit higher. It was up to 43.85, so I moved it up to 43.86 and then eked it up again to 43.87 1/4. And right away I'm trading back down at 43.83 1/4, 43.83 now. So I get my mouse and I move the stop back down. And I put the stop down at 43.85 1/2. Now the trade went up to 43.85 1/4. So my maximum drawdown on the trade, that's the maximum amount I've been down in money during the live trade, it's been $25. Now finally it's going my way. I'm down at trading at 43.81 area down there. And so I'm in the money. And of course, the next thing goes through my mind is I get out my Tastyworks mouse and move my stop down again. Always, every move I can to reduce the risk in this trade. Now, when you do your first few trades, it seems like a lot of things to watch all at once, but it gets, you can see it's not rocket science. You just, don't let yourself lose a lot of money and let the trade go enough to try and make some. That's the main thing. 3 minutes into the trade right now, and at 381, I'm trading up $17.50. And you recall my worst drawdown so far was $25. So maybe the MACD, you can't see it on the screen at this particular moment, but I can. And it still says that we should have some more down to go in this trade. Trading 43.80. So that's really good, moving my way. Down trading at 43.80, that means I'm 2 3/4 points. That's $27.50 ahead at 43.80. And my poor target's sitting down there by itself at 43.70. As I said, it doesn't much matter what you put in for a target. It's just kind of a placeholder at this point. So what is going to be my target for this trade? Well, if I'm down at 43.80 and I have $27.50 ahead in this trade at that point, I don't want to give that $27 up and wind up with nothing, or worse yet, even losing money. That's why I keep my stop close there, 43.84.50 still. And what I'm going to do, if this trade starts to turn around, I'm going to save some of the unrealized profits I have in there. It's back up to about $27.50 now at 43.80 right there. And so that's going to determine when I end the trade. I'm going to try to let this thing run. You're going to take a lot of small losses in this kind of trading. And so you have to learn to be able to let that trade, give it some room to breathe, let it develop, and don't run the stop so close that you'll get stopped out. Right now, the market's going in my favor down. If it turns around, I'll get very defensive and move that stop down. In a New York minute, I will. We have a lull in the action here. Let's take a look. See, there's the MACD. Green line still well below the red line. The lines are not coming back together. That would indicate that the trade would be slowing down. And they're still keeping the same distance apart, and maybe they'll even spread a little bit more because that would be a little more bearish if I had distance between those lines. So I'm still trading 43.80. I'm down in the 43.79s now, so let's see what happens. As a new trader, here's something that you should watch, and it isn't on the chart. You see, we're ahead in the trade right now. Now, when we're ahead in a trade, we tend to think more rationally and logically. And if it starts running against us in a hurry or we're down some money, we get really antsy. And that's the time we start making bad decisions, because you're going to lose about 40% of your trade. So 40% of the time, you're going to have to pull the trigger, get out before you lose more money than you need to on a trade. Fortunately, we picked a good entry point. I can say that with hindsight now, the genius of hindsight. And we've had no real pressure on us during the trade. During the first couple of minutes, we were down $25, but, that's to be expected. You really didn't get too excited about that. But now the market is getting down to 43.77. We're talking about some money here. We're getting into money, and it's time to think about moving that stop down just a little bit more. But the trade's going great, so there's no reason to crowd it out right now and move that stop perilously close to the price where it's trading at, unless you wanted to just decide all of a sudden to take the money. And sometimes, hey, that's okay. If you need to do that to have a good day, then click that mouse, buddy. Go for it. In about 6 minutes, and we're up about $60. Whoa, almost $80 now in the trade. For just a second there, I touched 43.74, and I was up $87.50 in about 7 minutes in the trade. Now, everything else less than $87.50 now, it's going to seem like I did something wrong. This event that I hit 87.50 in 7 minutes, it kind of changes the psychology of the whole trade, because you get into FOMO territory, fear of missing out. See, it was trading 43.74. I'm already $20 off of that, so I'm only up $67, give or take a few, for the moment. So I've given up $20 of the profit I had on the trade already, and I did go up and move my stop down to 43.80 3/4 now. That's still only $20 that I have locked in on the trade, and I'm trading up at about $55 or $60 right now, near 377.5. I just did the math. I'm only up $52.50 now. So I'm $30 of that $87.50 that I maxed out on there is already gone. That's how fast these trades can go. Now, this is good. I'm glad you're seeing this trade, because this kind of thing isn't in the book. Your head totally changes. It looks like it's moving back up now at 43.77, and I only have a $52 profit, and it was 87.50, and so now your brain starts going, well, I should have taken the larger amount of money. But the truth is, you may not believe this in the middle of a trade, but the truth is you just don't know. You can't assume that that's going to happen. You always imagine the worst case scenario and just so you'll be ready for whatever outcome you have. But now we're at 43.77.50, and that's that $52.50 mark that we're up that amount of money for the time being. Now it's about 62.50. This experience in the middle of this trade here reminds me of a trip to Las Vegas. You're at the tables and you're playing blackjack or whatever your game happens to be, and you're up $87.50, and you kept betting, and 2 minutes later you're only up $52, and you say, well, I should have quit and walked away. But that's part of the psychology of trading. Ironically, that's also why it's a lot of fun. And it has me second-guessing myself now, because I have my stop only at $7.50 locked in here, just 0.75 points. And I was up 87.50, and my stop's at $7.50. And I'm just trying to stay out of the way. You can't see it on the screen right now, but the MACD still says I should hang in there for a while. It isn't always right, and I know that. And if you've traded, you know that too. 43.76 right now, so we're at $62, $65 up in the trade. It's going to be interesting to see what happens now. And you have to imagine, as you're watching this trade, what would you be thinking at this particular time, because it's times like this. Now we're only up 52.50 again at 43.77 and a half there. You have to be thinking, what would you be thinking during the trade? Do you think you missed your day? You should have taken the $80-something, or are you going to hang in there in the trade? I've decided to hang in. And the only reason I have is because the MACD has yet to tell me that this trade should be over. I go down to take a look at the MACD. I'm trading 43.7850 now. So I'm only up about $33, $35 in the trade, something like that, a round number. That means I've given $50 back to the market that I had in unrealized gains, but chose not to take them. Now, who would not be second-guessing that decision at this particular point? And it has to do with fear of missing out, and you get into that panic psychology. You start making less rational trades. I'm trading 43.79.75 now. That means I'd be only up $30 in the trade. So I've given 87.50 minus $30 is $57.50 I've given back to the market in this trade, and yet I stubbornly hang on to it. And it's been a while. It seems a lot longer, but I've only been in a trade for about 9 minutes now, and I'm up $30. By waging standards, $30 in 9 minutes is, what would that be? Like $180 an hour or something like that. And but that's just smoke and mirrors. You can talk yourself into or out of anything during a trade. That's why it's exhilarating, frustrating, and all the other things that we both dislike and enjoy about trading. But I'm going to hang in with this thing and see what happens just a little bit longer. And you notice I have moved my target up now to 43.72.75. That's exactly a $100 profit on this trade. So if I can get down to there, I would really have to think about taking the money and running on this trade. What would you do? Well, I'm going to give you some time to think about that. Normally, I would get in my time machine and rush time ahead for the trade, but there's a little lull here, so you try to guess what I did, what I didn't do, and think about what you might do at this particular trade. We'll just make it as we always intend to, a practice trade for you during these sessions. 43.79 3/4. That's I'm only up $30 at that particular price. Now I'm back up to 40 again. So you're going to hear the audio go silent here for a moment. Don't be alarmed. I'll be right back and talk to you again. Okay, I'm up maybe 35 bucks, and we're about 14 minutes into the trade. I see it trying to etch down there. At this point in my head, all kinds of chatter is going on in between my ears right now. Fortune favors the bold, I'm telling myself. And then I see it tick up, and I don't believe that. So I go, well, what the heck? YOLO, you only live once. Worst thing can happen. I'm going to lose $7.50. I'll make $7.50. I won't even make that because I got to pay commissions. There are people who say that trading psychology has nothing to do with your success trading. Well, they don't know what they're talking about, do they? Because it has everything to do with it. The decisions I made up to this point in this trade got me to the point that I am now, be they good or bad. And the decisions I make from here on out are going to determine what happens to me, other than I do have a position here where I'm not in a panic, because the worst thing can happen is I just don't make any money on the trade. But no money is coming out of my account from this trade. I know that for a fact. So because of that fact and my background and my own unique experience, as yours will be for you, it makes me comfortable with that. And I'd rather have made the 87.50, but maybe it's not in the cards. But I'm going to wait and see what happens. That's a decision I made, and now I'm going to take the consequences. Okay, I'm going to go silent again for a moment and be trying to decide, what would you do? We're trading 43.78 now, so that's 234. We got about $42.50 to $45 up in the trade. I could exit right now and take that money, and that money has already gone down to 37.50 now. That's just the nature of this type of trading. I'll be back in a minute. Take a look at the blue rectangle with the yellow highlight there. Each candlestick is 5 minutes wide. So you can see, you could draw a line across those things. The price almost stayed the same for a full 20 minutes there. And now finally we're getting some good news here. It's going down 43.74.5 right now. So we're up more than $80 at the moment. Okay, you're up over $100 now. I'll step back, you take the wheel. So what are you going to do? Are you going to move the stop? Are you going to adjust your target down again? Are you going to say, thank you very much, click the mouse, take $110 and put it in your pocket? What's the call here? MACD says we're doing fine so far. That can change at any moment. It's one of the most important parts about trading. You always have to make decisions before you have all the facts. That's the nature of this trading. It's one reason it's so risky and so much fun. Well, once already in this trade, I was up 87.50 and it went back down to about $20. So I don't want to let that happen again. So I finally give in here. I'm going to move my stop down. Here we go. They need to fix a way in a casino so you can put a stop loss on your bets in the casino. That'd be a good idea. I just moved my stop down now to 43.74.5. You know, I did the math, and that means the worst case scenario on this trade now is I'm going to make $82.50. And so as this thing goes down, I'm going to get a little more aggressive now and run my stop much closer, because you never know. You know, having had $50 or $80 and have it go down to 20 one time, I'm not perfectly okay with that, but that's not hard. But now with $110, $120 up here, I would be foolish not to keep that stop pretty close and protect that money. I just moved my target price down lower. It's at 43.6250 now, and I'm trading at 43.68 and a quarter. And so I'm definitely going to move the stop down. It was at 43.74 and a half. I made it 43.72 and a half. So I added another $20. So now my worst case scenario is I walk away with $102.50, I think. And this trade's just getting better and better. And I am going to ride that stop to that trading price pretty darn close now, so I can keep as much of this money as possible. And I already know whatever happens, I've got that price corralled there between the target and the stop now. It's going to be a good day no matter how I get out of this trade, and I know that for sure already. So just to be clear now, I'm up about $135 in unrealized gains. I've got $102.50 locked in with my stop order up there at 43.72 and a half. I just noticed there, I hit a low of 43.67 and a quarter, and at that point I was up $152.50, and I got $102.50 protected on this trade. So you can bet I've got about 4.25 points. My stop is away from the trading price now, so I'm going to be moving the stop down just a little bit more and be a little more aggressive about not letting this trade run back on me this time and giving those unrealized gains back to the market here. I think I'm about done with this trade. That's where I am mentally with it, and I know I'm going to be happy about it no matter what happens now. You remember at the beginning of this trade, I was down $25 in the first couple of minutes of the trade. And if I'd been trading with the full E-minis instead of these 1/10 size micros, I'd be trading for $100 a point. So that means had I been using 2 regular E-mini contracts, I would have been down $250 in the first 2 minutes. And you can see psychologically speaking how much easier it is to learn to trade with the micros, because unless you have a very large account and lots of money, being up or down a few $100s when you're learning is absolutely terrifying, unless you've got a lot of money. And so the micros are perfect. I mean, that's why they've traded 1 billion of them in the first 2 years they've come about. So welcome to the club. Now I'm moving my stop down here to 43.6875, and I've decided that's where I'm going to draw the line at with this trade. There you go, stopped out, and I'll make a nice profit on this trade, $140 in 33 minutes. Now, one thing I can never resist post-trade, after the trade, is I have the chart here. Now, I got out of the trade at 1:33. This chart goes all the way up to 1:58 p.m. And you can see the price is 43.69 and a quarter, and I got out at 43.68 and 3/4. So if I held for another 20 minutes there, almost a full half hour, the results would have been just about the same. But wait a minute. Maybe that's true, maybe it isn't. See this point right here at 43.64? About 10 minutes later, I would have made an additional $47.50 by getting out there. But I'll show you how the genius of hindsight here is very, very deceptive. In order to make that additional $47.50 and get out right there, I would have had to hold the trade all the way back up through 43.72. Now at 43.72, that means I would have been up over $150 profit. And at 43.72, I'd have $40 less. Now the question is, would I really have held it through there? Or would I be afraid with 2 green bars there, candlesticks, I mean, that the thing was turning around? I probably would have gotten out and made less money, actually. Now think back to the last 25 minutes you've been watching this trade. We went through a lot of mental gymnastics, possibilities, moving stops, and everything else. Now, the point I've just shown you about the genius of hindsight, and I chose my words carefully, being so deceptive, is because it makes trading look really easy. You know, the first time you looked at charts and you see the MACD and the red line and the green line, you say, oh, all I got to do is just follow the trail, buy and sell. This looks easy. It's a piece of cake, and I'll try it. All of a sudden, you get into trading and you find out it's not at all that simple, and that's why there's a very high failure rate. Now, I've just told you something. I'm going to wrap this video up now, but I've just told you something. Go back and replay these last 2 or 3 minutes, and you will see how the genius of hindsight, if you look at a chart and say, oh, wow, and it's a head slapper. You say, oh, I should have done this. I didn't think of this, but what you're looking at is a record of possibilities with all the genius of hindsight. And if you stick that into your memory as your own trading advice to yourself, it's going to be a mistake. I just wanted to caution you against that. And beginners are seldom told this. And it's not something that's that obvious until after you've had some experience. So I'm trying to save you a little bit of trouble there. Thanks for being along on the video today, and it was a longer video than usual, but I wanted you to go through the total angst of a half-hour long trade and realize all the mechanical things that you have to keep track of and do. And if you're a beginner, I know it looks intimidating, but it's like driving a car or anything else you learn. After just a little while, it'll feel like you've known all the basics, at least the terms and how to operate your software and everything. That comes pretty fast, actually. It's not a big deal. Millions of people very easily do that much. It's making money that's the hard part. And that's what I try to help you with here on the channel. By the way, my book sales support the channel. It costs about the same as a large pizza. It's not a long read. It has a great chapter on trading psychology, which I hope you realize after today's video how very, very important that is. And the book's only the price, like I said, of a large pizza. And I would hope, it is my hope, you would make many times that investment back as you progress in your trading journey. Be sure and hit the like button if you want to see another video similar to the one you've seen today. I count those, and it helps me make the videos that you want to see, so I appreciate your help for that. Thank you. Also, subscribe to the channel. Join our 10,000 plus strong now, and we'll be posting new trades every week, and you'll be notified of each and every one if you click the little notification bell on there. I'm Don Singletary. Thanks for being here today. I hope every day is a payday for you. And thank you.